Alright, so in this video I'm going to discuss how to specifically cover up outer seams. You can see I'm pointing to one right now. They can be quite stubborn, and we're going to use scrap clay to help us camouflage those seams. Hopefully you have some scrap clay left. In class I'll be able to help you out with that, and hopefully at home you'll have enough to work with. But in any case, you're going to use that scrap clay to produce a skinny coil. It's a keeper if you can bend it into a horseshoe shape, as I did just a second ago, and it does not break. When you're rolling out your coil, don't use your palm. Use your fingertips on the tabletop, and that will help you produce a skinny coil. We want a pencil-thin coil here, or thinner, like spaghetti noodle thin. That works too. And the point of this is to lay down the coil on top of any stubborn seam that is not going away. So if you're having a hard time removing outer seams and your rib tool or gift card is not getting the job done, that's when you do this technique as like a last resort. I've got part of a coil I'm not going to get to use just yet, so I'm going to hide that away in my small Ziploc bag so it doesn't dry out. You don't want to leave coils that you've just rolled out that you're proud of. You don't want to leave them out, or they will dry out and not be workable anymore. Go ahead and score over the seam and paint over it with some water. So we're basically doing the slip and score technique to secure that coil in place. So next I'm going to score up the actual coil, which is difficult to do because it is so skinny. Just do the best you can when it comes to scoring up a coil. It's very physically awkward. And it may be a little too long at first, so you'll have to give it a little haircut, give it a trim, and snip off any excess coil hanging off the edge. Apply a little bit of pressure with your thumb just to kind of secure the coil. If it flattens it out, that's great. That's helpful. And now it's just a matter of taking your popsicle stick and blending that coil away, making it invisible. So before you do that, however, paint a little water kind of around the coil to help create a seal. The water will find its way under the coil and fully bond it to the wall, which is good. And then what other technique will work to fully bond the coil to the wall is what I'm doing right now, which is blending one side of the coil, and now I'm going to turn my container and I'm going to blend the other side of the coil. And the reason you don't want a fat coil here is because that's more work on your part. That's more blending, and it creates a bigger bump. And we just want a subtle bump, as you can see here. Just subtle enough to cover the seam, but not be too bumpy. And then I even like to take my popsicle stick and kind of use it like a rib tool. I'll use the side of my popsicle stick to kind of smooth over the coil after I've blended it. And then I do kind of a finishing of the coil with either a sponge or my fingertip or both. So again, you don't want that coil too bulky. And you can even use your gift card tool to do a final scrape over that coil. The point is to cover up the seam and yet not produce a new bumpy area. We want to keep this flat and seamless. You can use the corner of your gift card again if that helps, or the entire side of the gift card. Fingertips help, sponge helps, whatever works. Just try to do your best to remove evidence of a coil that was added. And the purpose of the coil is to cover up the seams, which are like long indentations and rather annoying. So now I'm just kind of looking for other areas I need to target with coils. And there's quite a few areas that are going to require coils that I can see my gift card did not remove. There's one. There's another short one. Now, for a short seam, like I was just pointing to, you don't have to place an entire full-length coil there. You can literally customize the coil to be as short as the seam is, okay? So basically we're doing like a patching technique. We're patching in seams.